Okay guys, this is your lesson for partial quotients. Okay, this is another strategy that you can use for division. In your journal, last time I was in your room, y'all were somewhere around page 75, 76, or 77. So turn to your next blank page, whichever one you happen to be on. I'm gonna do mine on page 77. And I want you to title it Partial Quotients. If at any time during this video you need to pause, please do so. That's the nice thing about doing this on a video, is you can catch up with the teacher. Okay, think about what partial means. It's part of, and then quotients, that's the answer to a division problem. Really small under here, we're gonna write answer, I'll even draw a little arrow, to a division problem. I've heard Miss Murphy, she's already exposed you to this vocabulary. You need to know it. It's important. The words are important. Okay, we're gonna do a pretty easy problem this time since it is for our journal. This journal is for you to use as an example and a guide for the steps. Okay, so the problem we're gonna do is 260 divided by 5. Okay. $260 is our dividend. That's the number being divided up. And 5 is our divisor. This is, the number doing the dividing. Okay, I want you to write step 1. How do I want to word that? Place problem in the house. Okay. So when I say we're gonna place the problem in the house, make sure to leave yourself plenty of room because we're gonna make steps and all kinds of things. Actually, let's go ahead and write step 2. Step 2, make a cheat sheet, which I'll tell you what I mean by that in just a second. And I want you to write using 1, 2, 5 pattern. Okay, and I'm going to explain what all of this means in just a second. Make sure you can see. Okay. All right, so step 1 was to place the problem inside the house. So to do that, I'm going to write 260. This is our dividend. Put it inside the house because it's the number being divided up. And I'm going to put 5, our divisor, on the outside of the house. It's the number doing the dividing. And then I'm going to draw this line like this. Okay? That's step 1. Step 2 is to make a cheat sheet. And I'm going to write cheat sheet over here. You don't have to do this you don't have to label this every time. But for journal purposes, we're going to label it. And it says using 1, 2, 5 pattern. Okay, you have to use the divisor, the number doing the dividing. Okay, and you come over here and you multiply, okay, the divisor using a 1, 2, 5 pattern. So watch what I do. 5 times 1, 5 times 2, and 5 times 5. This is a 1, 2, 5 pattern. It's going to continue in just a second, and I'll show you what I mean by that, but I'm going to start with these basic facts. I'm going to do 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. and 5 times 5 is 25. These are your basic facts. You should already be familiar with them. Okay, what I'm looking for is a number, a product, the answer to a multiplication problem that is larger than 260, my dividend. Okay? So I'm going to do another 1, 2, 5 pattern. So I'm going to do 5 times 10. Look, that's a 1. It starts my 1, 2, 5 pattern. 5 times 10 I know is 50. Now I'm going to move to my 2, and I'm going to do 5 times 20. If you don't know this fact, that's okay. You know that 5 times 2 is 10, and you have 1 power of 10. Okay, now I'm going to do the 5 from my 1, 2, 5 pattern. 5 times 50. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25, and I have 1 power of 10. Listen, what I'm looking for is a product, the answer to a multiplication problem, that is larger, greater than 260. 250 is not greater than 260, so I'm going to go one more, and I'm going to do 5 times 100. 5 times 1 is 5, and I have 2 powers of 10. I can stop here. I can stop, so I'm going to put a little note. Stop when the product is greater than, what is this number called? The dividend. Okay. Okay. So we got steps 1 and 2 done. We're going to come down here. I'm going to try and make sure this whole time you can see this. Anyway, step 3. Okay, we're going to subtract products from dividend, and we're going to write I mean, these are called the partial quotients, but I want to use words that will help you remember. These are factors, but I guess let's just call them partial quotients because that's what they are. Write partial quotients outside. Some people call this the flagpole. You can call it the house, whatever you would like. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Can you see it? I left my thing at school. Okay, so I'm gonna move it back up so that we can see this right here, because this is what we need to see. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look over here at the cheat sheet. I need to find the number. This one's gonna be really easy. I need to find the number that is closest to 260 without going over 260. It cannot be greater than 260. So I can see that 250 is awfully close, and I'm going to write minus 250. And then I'm going to look at this factor. Okay, that's our partial quotient, and we're going to write it right here, 50. Okay, you're not ever using this. That's the divisor. You're just using your 1, 2, 5 pattern, one of those numbers. Okay, now we have to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 6 minus 5 is 1. And 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, now I'm going to find the one that is closest to 10 without going over, and I look right here, I see I have 10, so I'm gonna write minus 10. And the factor that I used is 2, so that's my partial quotient. And I'm gonna subtract 0 minus 0 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0. That means I'm done with this step, okay? Our last step, I know you can't see right now, I'm gonna show you in just a second. Step 4 is going to be add the partial quotients, okay? Okay, so let me move this so you can see that. I'm gonna try and get my hand out of the way. Okay, so final step is these are the partial quotients. In fact, let's draw this and write partial quotients. We're gonna add them. 50 plus 2. On a lot of problems, you're gonna have way more than just 2. This was a very easy problem. You will likely have 3 or more, okay? But 0 plus 2 is 2, and bring down my 5 for a quotient of 52. So 260 divided by 5 equals 52.